Here's the bad news that nobody's talking about. Only 8 states are stepping up to help SNAP recipients this November during what could be the worst food assistance crisis in decades. While 42 million Americans depend on food stamps to feed their families, most states are leaving people in the dark about what's happening with their benefits. If you're on SNAP, you need to hear this right now, because what happens in the next few weeks could determine whether you can put food on the table for Thanksgiving. Stay with me, because I'm going to break down exactly which states are offering help, what kind of assistance is available, and what you need to do if your state isn't on this list. Hey everyone, my name is Tony, and I'm a government benefits expert. For over 9 months, I've been helping people navigate the complex world of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other critical assistance programs. I've worked directly with thousands of families during benefit crises, and I know exactly how confusing and stressful this situation can be. That's why I'm here, to cut through the noise, give you the facts, and make sure you have a clear action plan. I create content on this channel to help people like you get the benefits you deserve and understand your rights during uncertain times. Before we dive into this, do me a quick favor. Drop a comment below and let me know your city and state. I want to know where you're watching from and whether your state is on the list I'm about to share. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Your engagement helps this content reach more people who desperately need this information right now. All right, let's dig in. Here's what's happening right now with SNAP benefits across the country. Due to ongoing federal funding issues, the majority of states are facing serious challenges with food stamp distribution this November. The USDA has confirmed that without additional congressional action, many SNAP recipients could experience delays or disruptions in their benefits. This is crisis territory. We're talking about 42 million people who depend on these benefits to survive. But here's where it gets interesting. 8 states have decided they're not going to wait around for the federal government to figure this out. These states are using their own funds or emergency measures to make sure their residents don't go hungry this month. Let me walk you through each state and what they're doing. State 1. Virginia's governor has declared a state of emergency and confirmed that SNAP benefits will continue to be paid despite federal funding uncertainties. The state is using its own resources to provide food benefits until the situation is resolved. There are approximately 827,000 SNAP recipients in Virginia who will be protected by this decision. State 2. California is fast-tracking $80 million in funds specifically for food banks. Governor Newsom has even deployed the National Guard to help distribute food to those in need. With 5.38 million SNAP recipients in the state, California is taking the most aggressive approach to prevent a food crisis. State 3. New York is putting $30 million in state funds to support over 16 million meals. With 2.9 million people on food stamps in the state, this emergency funding is designed to bridge the gap through food banks and community organizations until federal benefits resume. State 4. Colorado Governor Jared Polis has requested the state legislature authorize $10 million from the state's general fund to support food banks. This will help the 584,000 SNAP recipients in Colorado access emergency food assistance during the shutdown. State 5. Louisiana has declared a state of emergency and is providing limited SNAP benefit payments from late October through early November. With nearly 850,000 recipients in the state, Louisiana is doing what it can with state funds to cover at least part of the gap. State 6. New Mexico has allocated $8 million for food banks under Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's emergency order. The state's 451,000 SNAP recipients will have access to emergency food assistance through expanded food bank operations. State 7. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has approved $4 million for food banks to help the state's 453,000 SNAP recipients. Minnesota is focusing on expanding food bank capacity rather than direct benefit payments. State 8. New Hampshire is partnering with the state food bank to increase SNAP recipients access to food through mobile food pantry programs. The state is setting up dedicated mobile pantries specifically for the 76,900 SNAP participants, with locations being identified across the state. Now here's what you need to understand. These states are taking different approaches. Some, like Virginia and Louisiana, are actually paying SNAP benefits directly. Others, like California, New York, and Colorado, are funneling money through food banks to provide emergency food assistance. The end goal is the same, making sure people don't go hungry, but the method matters when it comes to how you'll access that help. Now let's talk about what this really means and why this situation is so unprecedented. Here's the thing. The federal government has a $5 billion contingency fund specifically designed for situations like this. It's essentially a rainy day fund meant to keep SNAP benefits flowing during government shutdowns or funding gaps. But according to official USDA statements, they've confirmed they will not be using that contingency fund to continue SNAP payments. That's a choice, not a lack of resources. This puts the burden squarely on individual states to decide whether they're going to step up and help their residents or leave them to figure it out on their own. And what we're seeing is a patchwork response across the country. Some states, particularly those with larger budgets and more progressive leadership on social programs, are taking immediate action. But let's be realistic. Most states don't have unlimited resources. California can afford to deploy $80 million because of its massive state budget. Smaller states or those already running budget deficits simply can't do the same thing. This creates a situation where your zip code determines whether you eat this month. If you live in Virginia or California, you're protected. If you live in one of the 42 other states that haven't announced emergency measures, you're on your own, at least for now. Let me also address the numbers here because they're staggering. More than 62% of SNAP recipients live in households with children. 37% include older adults or people with disabilities. And 38% are part of working families, meaning these aren't people who refuse to work. They're people whose jobs simply don't pay enough to cover both rent and food. When we talk about disrupting SNAP benefits, we're talking about hungry children, elderly people skipping meals, and working parents forced to choose between gas money to get to work and feeding their kids dinner. This isn't abstract policy. This is real human suffering. The political finger-pointing doesn't help anyone. Republicans blame Democrats. Democrats blame Republicans. Meanwhile, 42 million people are stuck in the middle wondering if they'll be able to eat next week. What frustrates me most is that this was preventable. The contingency fund exists for exactly this reason. The fact that it's sitting unused while families go hungry is a policy choice, not a necessity. So what does this mean for you? Let's get practical, because that's what matters right now. If you live in one of the 8 states I mentioned, first, understand exactly what kind of help your state is offering. Is your state paying SNAP benefits directly, or are they funding food banks? If it's direct benefits, check your EBT card on your normal deposit date. Your payment should come through. If your state is funding food banks, you'll need to locate the nearest food bank or mobile pantry and visit them for assistance. If your state is not on this list, don't panic, but do take action immediately. Here's your step-by-step plan. Step 1. Contact your local food bank. Food banks across the country are aware of this situation, and many are preparing to meet increased demand. Visit feedingamerica.org to find food banks in your area. Call ahead to find out their hours and what documentation you need to bring. Step 2. Reach out to local churches and community organizations. Many churches operate food pantries, especially during the holiday season. They're ramping up for Thanksgiving already, and they can provide emergency food assistance even if your state isn't providing official help. Step 3. Contact your state representatives. Call your state legislators and tell them your story. Ask them what your state is doing to help SNAP recipients. Pressure from constituents can push states to take emergency action. Don't underestimate the power of speaking up. Step 4. Look into emergency assistance programs. Many counties and cities have emergency food assistance programs separate from SNAP. Contact your county social services office and ask about emergency food vouchers or one-time assistance programs. Step 5. Budget what you have. If you received your October SNAP benefits, stretch them as far as possible. Buy shelf-stable items, dried beans, rice, pasta, and canned goods. Shop at discount grocery stores and use coupons aggressively. Every dollar you can stretch now gives you more breathing room. Step 6. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This is not the time for pride. If you have family, friends, or neighbors who can help, reach out. Most people want to help, they just don't know who needs it. Here's my biggest piece of advice. Stay informed and stay connected. This situation is evolving rapidly. More states may announce emergency measures in the coming days. The federal government could still act. Don't assume the situation on November 1st will be the same on November 15th. Now I want to hear from you. Which state are you in? Is your state on the list of 8 that are providing help? And if not, what are you planning to do to make sure you and your family have food this month? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single comment, and your experience could help someone else watching this video figure out their next step. We're building a community here of people who support each other during tough times, and your voice matters. All right, my friends, that's everything you need to know about which states are helping SNAP recipients this November. This is a developing situation, and I'll be monitoring it closely. If more states announce emergency measures, or if the federal government takes action, I'll be the first to let you know. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this critical information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update about your benefits. I know times are tough right now, and uncertainty about food security is one of the most stressful things a family can face. But knowledge is power, and when you know what's happening and what your options are, you can take action instead of just worrying. Coming up in my next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to maximize your food budget during a crisis, including shopping strategies, meal planning tips, and resources you probably didn't know existed. You're not going to want to miss that. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. And remember, you're not alone in this. I'll see you in the next video.